All right, it's nice and it's hot. It's nice and it's hot. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say call on Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakak Wadash. Giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, King of kings, Lord of lords, God of gods. There's nothing else above him. Much love to his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, the Adonai, the Hamashiach, the light of this world, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Much love to the prophets, whoever they may be, which are the chosen among Israel, to give us the word, to wake us up, to put us in that new covenant. Um, they do everything in their power to give us news reports and to trying to keep feeding the house of Israel, the sheep, with everything that they've got. Much love. Shout out to the beautiful Akim, the beautiful men that's in the word, and that's not from groups. Um, they do everything in their power to show you how about Shem Shai. They love him and they fear him. Much love to the Akwaf, the beautiful women that's in the word. And whether they got a man or not, they still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh. And they listen and they learn in silence. Today's title, yet again, is the time of Jacob's trouble. The time of Jacob's trouble, because we are entering that stage to where Yahweh is keeping his promise by starting with the house of Israel. So I'm going to pull up the tablet and then I'm going to give you the house of Israel as a whole, that all the 12 tribes, because I don't have good memory, but that's what the internet is there for. And I'm about to whip it out right now. All right, here we go. So we got the 12 tribes, the 12 tribes chart. We got Judah, which is the blacks of America. And then we got Benjamin, which is the West Indian blacks. We got the Haitians, which are Levi. Then we got Ephraim, which are the Puerto Ricans. We got Manasseh, which are the Cubans. We got Simeon, which are Dominicans. We got Zebulun, which are Guatemala to Panama and Mayans. We got Gad, which are the Native Americans. We got Reuben, which are the Seminole Indians. We got Asher, which are Colombia to Uruguay, which are, Colombia to Uruguay, which are Incas, whatever that is, but that's Asher. And then we got Issachar, which are the Mexicans. And then we got Naphtali, which are Argentina and Chile. And it says Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11, they're scattered throughout Africa and abroad, throughout the whole entire world. We all know about the slave trade stories, which are very true, and they weren't just in America, but they were distributed across the world, for our punishment and our sins. So we're going to go to a good chapter. All right, it says, and this is true. Oops. Golly, this shit tangled. This is Jeremiah 31, verse 31 through 34. It says, behold, the days shall come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel, which is now today. The new covenant is real. And the new covenant is the new promise, that's a part of the bundle pack with the kingdom, the immortality, the potential power of the power of 144,000, the contract where Yahweh Shai had passed for us, had died for us, for those of us that would believe in the far future, and his blood covered us so that we can be back in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai's graces by forming a new promise, a new covenant, a new contract, so we can come back and be automatically forgiven. As long as we go through the guidelines and do the best that we can to stay in line, the Israelites have that privilege. Now, the difference between the Israelites and the 18 nations is that they don't have a contract with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and the name Yahushai. Yahushai did not die for the entire world. What he meant by the entire world, and world means cosmos, and cosmos means certain people, and correct vocabulary is that he would die for the chosen of Israel, because the chosen of Israel wasn't the ones that condemned him. It was the 2/3 that had him condemned, and that they voted for his death, along with the scribes and the Pharisees who were there that day, that tried to find probable cause and probable blame against him, along with Judas Iscariot, who betrayed Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for a bag of pennies. So, Yahweh Shai for a bag of pennies. So Israel is the only one that has that covenant, and that is through our forefathers, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, remembering our forefathers and us. Our forefathers and us, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and remembering all of the prophets like Nahum, like John the Revelator. He was an Israelite. They were all Israelites. Moses, Isaac, Melchizedek, King David, Samson, Isaiah, Jonah, and then as many others, Paul, and as many more, Simon and Peter, among the 12 prophets that followed Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and many more. My memory ain't all that good, but I'm trying to whip them out, But they are the only ones that will get this promise and get the bundle pack, which is the world, immortality, to be reborn in the new covenant is a part of the word. So we'll be able to follow all the laws, and we will be able to be like Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai through Yahweh Shai, and that is perfect. We will have him in us, and like he said, he will write write the laws of his laws in our hearts. So we'll be able to be like Yahweh Shai and do them perfectly without fail, because the body is, like I said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. So the body is very weak, submitted to many temptations that you got to fight day after day. It may be people that do follow all the rules, but, you can never truly follow them all and be perfect, because that's our bodies are subjugated to corruption, subjugated to evil, exposed to this world, due to our past mistakes and us turning away from Yahweh. So the further we got away from Yahweh, the weaker we became. We were exposed to age. We were disease, plagues, work, subjugated to the money process when we was the ones making the money at first. We were the government at first. and many other things, that caused us to, that caused us to fall, because we did a lot of bad things to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and it was a lot of events that happened in past and ancient times that set it up for this future, which was, it was meant to all happen. So, when you hear people say, that we could be saved too, we are meant for salvation. When Yahweh Shem Yahushai come, he gonna come and get us too. 9 times out of 10, they don't really know the Bible. They can be spared, but it's not like Yahweh Shem Yahushai is gonna come and get you with those holy chariots that he gonna send when the time come for these wars and shit to happen. That is for the chosen. That is for the chosen. That is for the house of Israel. Those of us that came back, and the strongest of the prophets among us. So let me stop saying. I don't want to get that to be a habit. But as far as I'm concerned, he gonna spare. He may spare a couple of nations. He may spare some of the Edomites that choose to bow down, and they have to bow down and consider Yahweh Shem Yahushai and his son Yahushai, and then they have to bow down to the original gods, which are us. They're gonna have to bow down and obey us and acknowledge that we are the original gods, and that all the other gods are fake, and they seek mercy and pardon to by Yahweh Shem Yahushai through Yahushai's power. They have to pray to our Father, and they got to pray to our Father first. They got to acknowledge that he is our Father, and Yahweh Shem Yahushai Yahushai's son is the way, and they have to acknowledge that we are the lower gods that they put over, that Yahweh put over us to govern us. They have to acknowledge that. If they don't, like you said, you got to respect my little ones, and those little ones are the prophets and Israel on down, the chosen on down. So if you don't respect them, and if you don't pray and bow down to them and acknowledge that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is King and Lord, through Yahushai, and you don't acknowledge the lower gods, then it's a wrap for you. Now Yahweh Shem Yahushai said he gonna pardon them, then he will pardon them. But it's not to say that you won't be going through your hardships during these times of trouble. It's the Israelites that are chosen and went into the new covenant that won't be harmed by anything at all. But the rest of y'all, he might put you through hardship and through survival like everybody else, because you are not a part of the promise. So you might go through hell and shit, but you might go through a lot of things, and you might have, most likely, you will go into slavery for sure after all this is over with. But the Lord might have it a little lighter on you for making the right decision, and he won't do as much harm as he will to you, to your other people, and to these elites, and to the rest of these nations that choose to rebel against Yahweh. So it says, behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt. And my covenant they break, although I am a husband unto them, with saith Yahweh. So he is a husband unto Israel. Israel is a coming wife, a beautiful wife, the beautifulest of the daughters of Israel. That's why the Israelites stand out more than anybody, from the blacks all the way on down to the rest of the 11 tribes. They all stand out. They got a lot of flavor. They got a lot of style. Everybody wants to be us. Everybody wants to be the Israelites, Everybody wants to be like us. They want our attire. They want to be able to say the N-word. They want to rock the afros. They want our gear. They want our melanin. They want our skin. They want our beautiful bodies. They want our intellect. They want everything. The world literally revolves around them. They are the world. So it says, but this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts. It says, and write in their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. That's a part of when the rebirth, when we come back when we come down from the chariots and we get the new bodies. A part of the bundle pack. It's a whole bundle pack of rewards and blessings that Yahweh got, and starting now all the way until the rebirth of the world and after. So it says, and they shall teach no more, every man is his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me. It says, from least of them to the greatest, said Yahweh, for I will forgive their iniquity and remember their sin no more. So that's exactly what's happening with the new covenant. That's a part of the new covenant too for Jacob, during these times, is that Yahweh will pardon a great majority of us of our sins and just let us come back in. As long as we got a sincere heart and we trying the best that we can to change our lives and to worship him, he will bring us back into the fold. That is a promise. We can read some of this. This is good. It says, at that time, saith Yahweh, this is Jeremiah 31, verse 1. It says, at that time, saith Yahweh, I will be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus saith Yahweh, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel. It says, when I caused them to rest. Right. The Yahweh will protect us in the time of Jacob's trouble when the sword is sweeping through the land. Right now, that is happening as we speak. Like Yahweh said, I will start with the house of Israel. So he's starting with us. So he already owned Ephraim, which is the Mexicans. Now he on I forgot the name, but now he on the Haitians, and they are a part of the chart of the house of Israel. He on them. It's trickling on down to all of us. And I believe that, no, I don't know how the order is going to go, but we all will be affected. And we all going to have to go to war to protect our own at some point. And then after that, the Lord is going to continue. After we're done and we're out the way, Yahweh is going to continue on to Esau, the white man, and the rest of these nations. Like they said, if Yahweh start with us, then what's going to be the after for our enemies? I chopped that up, but you get what I mean, that it's going to be way worse. It's going to be way worse for the nations and Esau and them after he get us out the way, because we got to get the last of our punishment. So it says Yahweh have appeared of old unto me, saying, yeah, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Now it says Yahweh have appeared of old unto me, which meaning that the Yahweh had came in his original form, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and his son Yahushai, and told us the truth about everything and gave us the name of his name, which is a power. He came like that in the time of revealance. So it says, yeah, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving and kindness have I drawn thee. So a lot of us got called. A lot of us got called by him by name, It says, again, I will build thee. That the Lord said, again, I will save you. I will rebuild you, It says, and thou shalt be built, O Virgin of Israel. It says, thou shalt again be adorned with thy tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them to make them merry. So we about to be revived once again. We about to be saved once again, and be put back in our rightful place as kings, princesses, and queens of the children of the world. And what else did it say? How you doing? You're an Israelite according to the Bible. I said, did you know you're an Israelite according to the Holy Bible? All right, have a good day. Stay blessed. Thank you. It says, again, I will rebuild thee, and thou shalt be built. It says, O Virgin of Israel, thou shalt again be adorned with tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. Yeah, we're gonna be extremely. The Lord is gonna put right now. This is already happening now. So we being put back on our pedestal. We being put back in our rightful place as the original rulers of the world. Everybody is starting to know. Like a couple of days ago, I heard that the fake Israelites is making an exodus out of Israel, the land of Israel, because of the bombs and the wars going on between Israel and Iran, and it's destroying everything. Tel Aviv looked like crap, and they are making an exodus because they are not the people, and a lot of people seeing that. If Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai was with you, he would protect you and he wouldn't allow the missiles to hit you. But he's the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the name Yahushai, he is not with them. He is actually with the real children of Israel. We still stuck where we at in America, coming out of the fire, coming out of the iron furnace, coming out of poverty, being brought up in the spirit, being set by our place in the spirit, and then it's happening in the flesh, and then it hit you mentally, and then it's hitting you spiritually, and then it's hitting you physically. We all are, those of us that know who we are being set back, back in our proper spot, and then along with the rest of the 2/3, they're going to be put back in their place too, but I think Israel as a whole is being put on a pedestal so everybody knows who we are. That's a part of that bundle pack too. The fame, the fortune, the popularity, the style, down to your physique. A lot of this, for those of us that know, we are in the midst of the change, So it says, thou shalt yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. This says, the planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. It says, and this could go into this passage could go into slavery, and it could go into multiplication, like having children and having people take care of your children, surrogate mothers. It says, and shall eat them as common things, meaning that this will be daily for you. You're going to be taken care of. You're going to be catered to. You're going to be worshipped, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You're going to be eternal. You're going to have servants. You're going to have slaves. And it's going to be a daily thing, just like it was in the past, for it was an everyday thing for us to be slaves to the people that held us captive. It was just the norm, In the future, it's going to be the same way, when the world is at its rebirth point. This is another bundle packet. When the world is at its rebirth point, it's going to be the same for us. It's going to be daily that the nations is going to worship us and cater to us, and it's going to be like that forever. So it says, for there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the Mount Ephraim, which are the Indians, shall cry, arise ye, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai our God. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout among the chief of the mountains. It says, publish ye, praise ye, and say, O Yahweh, save thy people, the remnant of Israel. So that is exactly what's happening. How you doing? Hello. You're an Israelite according to the Bible? I said, you're an Israelite according to the Bible? Well, it's just a gift. So have a good day. Stay safe. Yes, sir. And this is a part of Jacob's trouble. So it says, for there shall be a day that the watchmen upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, arise ye, let us go up to Zion unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai our God. It says, for thus saith Yahweh, sing with gladness for Jacob. It says, and shout among the chief of the mountains. Among the chief of the mountains. So you got the prophets that's on the highways and byways, that's letting the world know, letting everybody know exactly who they are, whether they be from a group or not. It says, and letting the Israelites know who they are too, like me. Every time a person pass and I could tell that they're Israelite in the spirit, I tell them, do they know who they are? You know, hopefully that it sparks something in them and they can go study and figure out, or they could just go about their day, but they know who they are. So it says, publish ye and praise ye and say, oh, Yahweh, save the people, the remnant of Israel. That's the chosen among the Israelites. Because not all of them would believe and not all of them would care. They would disregard the Lord. They would consider Yahweh another religion or an ideal or some sort of representation because they feel like the blacks don't have a God, so they made one, when this is the original God of the Bible, of the Israelites, and of the whole world. There is nothing else besides Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. No other gods. The only gods is Yahweh Shai, the angels, and the Israelites. That's it. So it says, behold, I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind, the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return hither. So that's exactly what's going to happen during Jacob's trouble, all the way up to the end time event, which is the nuclear day, World War III. You know, all of the Israelites that are chosen is going to be gathered up together by the chariots. They're going to be gathered and called by Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to specific places to wait on him and be protected by the 144,000, and to be called up into them chariots so they can receive the next stage of the blessings, which is, you know, the eternal body. You know, they receive their royalty back. They receive they beautiful garments of gold, you know, they crowns, they outfits, get them all prepared. And when they come back down after all of this is over, you know, they would come down with their powers and they would come overthrow and overtake the nations when they weak and they can't defend themselves, and go get them wicked elites that did this to the world, to their world. So like I said in my previous videos, that the elites would come out, and lo and behold, the blacks would still be there. The Israelites would still be there. And all the tribes of them that survived would be there. And the world would be in the process of being rebuilt and being healed. And as soon as they come out the bunkers, they going into slavery because the Israelites going to be waiting on them to come out. So, you know, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's like a joke's on you, you know. So it says, they shall come weeping. It says, and with supplications I will lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. It says, for I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. So that's I think, yeah, that's the Mexicans. They are part of all of this too. And I think Ephraim could translate to Judah too, because Judah is the first tribe. So it says, they shall come with weeping and with supplications, because when these Jacob's trouble take place, it's going to be hell on earth. It's going to be a lot of suffering. It's going to be a lot of destruction. It's going to be a lot of darkness. It's going to be a lot of death, you know, manner of evil spirits, a lot of killing, a lot of fights, you know. So some of these Israelites we're going to go through a lot. We're going to see all type of horrors, and we're not going to be touched. You know, it's just something that we need to see. It's something that we need to go through. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and the name Yahushua, is not going to allow us to be touched. It says 1,000 may fall at your right, 10,000 may fall at your left, but it shall not come near nigh. But you going to see it, you know. So it says, they shall come with weeping and with supplications, and I will lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way. It says, wherein they shall not stumble, because we got the wisdom and we got the knowledge and we got the understanding of why it happened, you know, what was going on and how it happened. We have that knowledge. So it says, hear the word of the Yahweh, O ye nations. It says, hear the word of Yahweh, O ye nations. Now he calling out to the 18 nations. It says, and declare it in the Isos afar off, and say that he that scattered Israel with him will gather him and keep him as a shepherd doth his flock. So when he said that, he the one that put us here, and he the one that can take us out. That's Yahweh designed all of this and he can save us as well as he condemned us. It make perfect sense. It shows you who's truly in control. So it says, for Yahweh have redeemed Jacob and ransomed him from the hand of him that was a stronger than he. Right. So at a point in time, he was stronger than he. So right now, these white people are getting weaker and weaker. Population's dying. They don't have a lot of numbers. They losing their status on a world stage. Their money is getting weaker. They are being found out to be the children of Esau, the children of the wicked. Because you got the sons of God, you got the sons of man, and you got the sons of the wicked. Sons of man, the nations, and you got the sons of wicked specifically, which is the white man. So a lot of people starting to do their homework and starting to wake up and realize who these people actually are, through the revealance of the Ashkenazi Jews, realizing that they are not the people that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai had picked to run the world. They not those people, so... with that being said, a lot of people starting to wake up and realize, like, oh, okay, so these not the people, then who are the people? Okay, so let's do our homework. Let's go through slavery. These are the people, Okay, so the Israelites are the people, The Negroes, Mexicans, and the Indians, they are the people. So people starting to wake up and realize that, and now our enemy is becoming weaker, becoming smaller, becoming a minority, because there's so many of us. And he being backed into a corner, his time is running out. So now he got to resort to this sword. He got to resort to attacking the children of Israel, which he has been doing of late, And it's a part of the prophecy. Like Yahweh said, I will start with the house of Israel. He going to get us out the way real quick first, and then the rest of the nations, and Esau is next. And I wouldn't want to be them, It says, therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh, for wheat and for wine and for oil. It says, and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. So in order for these nations not to suffer, in order for them not to go through plagues, in order them in the future, in the world to come, in order for them not to be abandoned, or for Yahweh just feel like killing them off, they would have to acknowledge that Zion is the gods on the earth. Those are the gods on the earth that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai established. These are the original gods. There's no other gods. It ain't no Kali. It's not no gods of Olympus. It ain't no elephant god. It ain't no gods of Yoruba, gods of Africa, no Papa Legba or no Anubis or no god of Ra, all these mixed things and these ideals that's meant to replace the originals. No, these are your gods. It's that simple. These are lower gods. They're an extension. We are an extension of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai through Yahweh Shai on the earth. It's that simple. So it says, and for the young of the flock and of the herd, and their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. That's the only way. And if you don't do that, you're going to be punished with plague, sword, famine. Your kids ain't going to survive. You're not going to survive until you acknowledge that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, through Yahweh Shai, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the God of Gods, and that his little ones are the lower gods that you're supposed to be worshiping on the earth. So it says, then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together, for I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow, because we suffered so much, we've been through so much. We don't know, we haven't experienced true happiness with Yahweh in a long time. So when we get these blessings, which is starting now, which is now in our time, we get the small bundle pack, and then the blessings gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, but for right now, this is what he's talking about. We are experiencing happiness from sorrow, and we're getting better and better each day, and we're getting stronger and stronger, and this is through Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, it says, and I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, saith Yahweh. That's right. The goodness is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And the priests are these prophets that are faithful and true, that fight tooth and nail to get us to wake up, to get us to go back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai and give us the good gospel, give us the truth. It says, and the truth of who we are, and the truth of who, the true name of Yahweh, the true name of God and Lord and the Christ, the true names, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai. Then you got the Malik, or the Alahayim, which are the powers, which are the angels, and then you got the Yasharalim, which are the princes of power, which is us. So it says, thus saith Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, a voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. It says, Rahel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. Right, that's Jacob's trouble. That's Jacob's trouble. The kids crying, women losing their kids, husbands dying in the war, women being dragged off to slavery or sexual assault, or even worse. You know, men fighting for tooth and nail to keep what they got, even though it's gonna get taken away. You know, prophets is coming to help in the battles during the wars to protect those of them that are chosen. You know, it's a lot that's gonna be happening. The 2/3 gonna get they just due. They're going to have to pay back all that evil with their lives, you know. It's going to be a lot of shit going on with the house of Jacob, you know. It says, and the enemy shall come in like a flood. That's exactly what's going to happen. They're going to come like they are right now. It's already happening right now. So it says, thus saith Yahweh, refrain thy voice from weeping and thine eyes from tears, for thy work shall be rewarded, saith Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. That's exactly what's happening. For those of us that know the truth, we don't got to worry. We don't have to worry. We're not surprised on what's going on. We might be a little angry or feel some type of way, but we know this is happiness. This is joy, because we know that we coming out of our slavery. It's almost time. You know, we're getting closer and closer with each hour and each day, and our enemy is running out of time. So it says, and there is hope in the end. That's right. So the closer we get to the end, the brighter and brighter our future get. It's going to get better for us. Saith Yahweh, it says that thy children shall come again to their own border. That's right. We're going to go back to Israel. That's exactly what's going to happen. Yahweh is going to take us there. So it says, I have surely, and like they say, he who owns Israel runs the world, bro. So we next, when we get Israel back, we'll be owner of the world, and we'll be in control of everything. So it says, I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. It says that thou chastisest me, and I was chastised as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn thou me, and I shall be turned, for thou art Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Lord my God. So when he said that, we knew. They was even praying to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai in slavery. You know, and it says, thou hast chastised me. Yes, we have suffered. We don't went through a lot. We done been through a lot. You know. How y'all doing? Y'all know y'all Israelites according to the Bible. All right. Have a good day. Blessings for you.